guys, welcome back to my channel. It's another Wednesday and it's time for our little cafecito story time. If you are new, my name is Crystal, and if you just happen to like us, go ahead and subscribe down below. Hit that like button and turn on your post notifications so you know next Wednesday when that next video comes out of our story time or any other videos that we have coming up. So let's get into it with little Miss Isla today. Today we are talking about postpartum depression and what I experienced through it all. Not everyone experiences the same thing. And yeah, I'm gonna be all over the place. I don't know what, honestly, I just kind of come and do these videos and I just come and talk about what's just off of my head. So if I'm rambling or if I just go off tangent to different stories, that's just because of things that are popping up right now and I'm like, oh, that's what I experienced when I had postpartum. Or, oh, that's what I, thought of. So, so thanks for joining us today on Story Time. And let's get into it. So we brought her home. We came in. Dogs were super, super excited and happy to meet baby Isla. They met her. They sniffed her. They, were like super happy, and then they kind of were just like, all right, we're over it, like literally within seconds. And that first night, I remember, I just kind of stayed in bed. I had her right next to me in her bassinet, of course, and we just kind of like fell asleep and woke up and fell asleep and woke up because I was breastfeeding her. And at this time, Sergio was actually finishing one of his rotations, and so he had like a week left of working in the emergency room. So he was working, odd hours, late hours. So that first week was a lot of us, just her and I. And I would say that was probably like the most difficult. And that was probably what gave me my baby blues. Like I was tired, but this was like overly tired. Yeah, it was something I could not describe. So when people I had aunts and friends and stuff tell me like beforehand, like, make sure you sleep, enjoy your sleep, get that sleep while I was pregnant. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, I'm pregnant, like it's hard anyways. Yeah, but now it was 10 times harder, which is, I didn't believe it, but I mean, now I do. And I know for any new mamas out there or any mamas who are, women who are pregnant right now, get your sleep. And I know it sounds like so stupid to say, but honestly, get your sleep. It helps a million times. But yeah, so we brought her home. That first night happened, and that first week was just really crazy. Finally, my boyfriend had some time off and he was able to come and, just be her daddy and help out with the work of changing her and bathing her. He was scared though. He was scared to bathe her the first month just because she was very small. Well, not very small. What is mommy doing? You want some? No. And Sergio was able to get off that crazy schedule. He was doing lectures at home, finishing up, which was fantastic for me and the baby. So having him there around emotionally helped me a lot. He's a very hands-on dad. He loves giving her baths. He loves putting her to sleep at night, giving her bottle. He loves, doing all that stuff for her. Oh yeah? You like it too? It would be hard sometimes because she's constantly always with me. So, oh, you're talking to? Okay, go ahead. Oh, you're done? Okay. So, it'd be hard for him to put her to bed just because she's been with me all day. So she'd want me to put her to bed. So when I would put her to bed, finally, we put her down in her bassinet, and obviously in the beginning, she would wake up every once in a while to ask for a bottle to be fed. And he would go, daddy would go and actually make the bottles and get everything. Even now he does it. I know she doesn't necessarily wake up, but she kind of like fusses for a bottle, and then we give her one and she's knocked out in like 5 seconds. So he does all that, and you know, that honestly helps so much because this little girl does not like to nap, and during the day it is like tiring. So you're trying to do stuff for yourself or clean the house or even dishes. It becomes really hard. Stay-at-home moms, like, how do you do it? Because it is hard. And cheers to you for that, because that's crazy, right? Yeah. So that was kind of tough. You know, I experienced some crying, and then after that, life kind of changes for the mom. With me and Isla, it's just kind of like we're two peas in a pod, and I always feel like if I'm not with her, like I'm doing a bad job, which is obviously not true. And it's just so hard to like get that mentality through your head, thinking like, oh, if I leave my daughter with like her grandmas, or if I leave my daughter with, you know, someone else to watch her for a few hours, like you're not a bad mom if you need a break. Like if you want to go get your nails done or anything like that. And it's so difficult to like process that, to understand that, because like you also feel like you're being judged by so many people, and by just, you know, everyone. Like that's just the way like our world is right now. It's hard to be away from her, but also just as for myself, like I'm always constantly with her, so being apart from her really kind of like makes me sad in a way, I guess, because I mean, she's my best friend. I'm constantly with her, right? Constantly with you. Thanks to the pandemic, you know, I'm working from home. I get to be with her, but that's also tough too, you know, trying to get work done and trying to do phone calls and trying to just do anything, you know, with her. If she's up, you know, it's definitely hard. I sometimes sit her on my lap. We sometimes like play while I'm trying to do things, especially like during Zoom meetings. Like she's basically like sits on my Zoom meetings like this, like she's literally in it. And that's just the way life is right now, and it's very difficult. But I wouldn't change it though. I love her tremendously, and going through it with her, it's, you know, it's everything. The hard part about it is the life that you had before, baby. You know, obviously I had a lot of friends, and I had, you know, I would go out a lot with them. I would hang out, you know, phone calls and everything. And then after you have a baby, it's kind of like they disappear. And that's like the tough part about it, because you are trying to come back to yourself and trying to, you know, like grow in your life now. And obviously responsibilities and priorities change because now you have a baby. And it sucks because during the pandemic, while being pregnant, it was tough for me because I imagined, you know, being pregnant was gonna be great. Yeah, you know, hanging out with my friends and family. Yeah. Going out with friends and family, and just like, you know, lunch, dinners, hanging out at houses, just being able to enjoy that last experience with everyone while I was pregnant. I didn't get to have that, you know, because of COVID, and because of that, it was a little bit more depressing. But God sent me the right people in my life to be there for me throughout my entire pregnancy, whether it was phone calls, text messages, Zoom calls, FaceTime. You know, it was hard. My boyfriend definitely being able to be at home helped tremendously, and we had a friend over constantly. You know, that right there alone helped me a lot. and I had friends checking in on me, and it wasn't only about baby, you know, like it wasn't only about like, hey, how's the baby doing? I had not a lot, but I had a handful of friends who reached out and would say, you know, like, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling? You know, what do you need today? Like, and it was, you know, it was very sweet of them. Like I said, my best friend from high school, she would randomly send me money, like, because, you know, how is she gonna go to Starbucks and like grab me lunch and, you know, try not to expose me to anything while being pregnant, and expose herself to anything being pregnant, and expose herself to anything without, you know. So she would send me money, and I would be able to go like order my little Starbucks that I like was craving that day. And when I was pregnant, I craved fries. So, you know, she sent me money for like to buy like randomly like fries. Like it was, yeah, you remember. No, she doesn't. But it was like the sweetest thing, you know, and just little things like that definitely helped during COVID. It helped because I didn't get to see everyone and experience everything with everyone. And, you know, phone calls. My best friend in Texas, she religiously was like, once a week I had to like send her bump pics, and I had to like show her progress. Even when I was in like doctor office visits, I would obviously, like, after calling my boyfriend and everything, I'd call her, and then like we just kind of like talk about like what happened. And she went through like the whole process with me, and now she calls Isla Dulce, you know, like like a pan dulce. So she was like, you have a bun in your oven. And so because, yeah, obviously, you know, I'm Latina, so she was like, oh, you have a little pan dulce. So now she calls Isla Dulce. So, you know, she went through that whole thing with me. And even though she was, you know, miles away, it was just something that showed me that she cared and someone cared. And it wasn't just like me and my boyfriend going through it. And obviously, like, my mom and his mom were there. And the support, obviously, we loved the support. Oh my goodness. But it's just so different when it comes outside of family. So when Isla was born and everything happened, I had a lot of people, you know, come up to, like, text me and like, you want to meet the baby, let's see the baby, da da da. And like, there goes another, you know, form of somewhere where you can fall into depression, because now we're at that point where COVID's still here, and usually you'd be a little cautious when you go see people and have people see your baby, but now it's like 10 times more because of COVID. And so it was tough, you know, and it was depressing because it was just like, oh my gosh, you know, like when COVID ends and like we're like here thinking like, oh, it's gonna be this month, no, okay, well, it's gonna be this month, like, no, okay. And so now that vaccines have been like rolling out, Sergio and I got the vaccine, and a few friends of mine have gotten the vaccine. Yeah. But I also feel like, you know, being a new mom, sometimes you feel like you don't want it to be a burden that you're bringing your child with you to hang out with your friends. And I mean, some people are just not used to kids, and some people are. And so the first person that, like, I had reached out to a few friends, and then I reached out to one person who obviously, like, automatically was just like text me back nonstop. Text me back like really fast. And I was like, hey, you know, like, I'm fully vaccinated. Like, I really want to go hang out with you. I haven't seen you in so long. And, you know, I know you mentioned you like want to meet Isla, and I could bring her along and we can just go have breakfast, you know. And right away she was just like, let me look up restaurants near you and like we'll pick something and blah blah blah. And this person has been a friend of mine for over 10 years. I met her at community college, and now I'm going to be a bridesmaid in her wedding. And she has, unfortunately, because of COVID, she had to like postpone it multiple times, but we're hoping for September. Woo! Right, Ella? And yeah, so she like is this most sweetest thing ever, first of all. And so she reached, you know, she was like, let's do it, let's do it, like it's set in stone. And so one day we just went to go have breakfast, and we probably talked for hours, and it was just kind of like everything to like new mom life, and how, you know, she's talking about her life and getting married soon, and And then, postpartum comes up again. And it's crazy to think, like with other people, I've never like spoken about it too much. And then when you start talking about it to like close people that you can trust, you feel like you can really open up. And so, we started talking about it. I told her about the baby blues. And then, months going into it, I was still taking my I'm still taking my prenatals. And, you try to do everything and anything to like avoid hair loss, to avoid all this stuff. And I ended up having some hair loss, and it lasted for maybe about 2 months, but I have baby hairs growing back like right here. And that was probably one of the toughest things that I experienced and kind of made me feel super down. I remember when I was losing my hair, I told my boyfriend, like, I was just like, oh my God. And it was like so sad because like why? But it's growing back, and I feel like a little bit more better, a little bit more confident, and it's okay. It happens. And so, I explained to her about that, and we just talked, and she met Isla for the first time, and she fell in love with her, and she was just so good with her. And she's been around kids before, and she loves kids, and so it made me a little bit more comfortable because, like, giving her to her, and like if Isla cried or anything, I didn't have to feel like, oh my God, like right away. Like, it was cool, it was fine. And that's that, like, being a new mom too, it's just kind of like not frustrating, but it's like a worry. You're like, oh God, I hope, like, I'm sorry if she's embarrassing you, like, let me grab her. But she's totally cool with her. She, like, they loved each other. Isla loved her. And then the second friend that reached out to me was, again, my best friend from high school. And she also, has her own niece and goddaughter. And so she was completely fine with Isla. And Isla loves to scream right now. She found her voice, and, she was like, go girl, do your thing. So, that was fun. And so, things like that help a mom stay afloat. It helps us to avoid that postpartum depression. And I think if it wasn't for people like them, I think I would be in a difficult place right now, and mentally in a difficult place. But I had friends, reach out to me, and there's some where obviously we're taking our precautions because, everyone's not vaccinated and everything. But I have friends who check up on me and ask me how I'm doing. Obviously they ask how Isla's doing, but there's those few people that are just like, how are you doing? Like, we know Isla's doing great, she looks cute and we see pictures all the time, but how are you doing? And that means the absolute world. And I don't know if other moms feel that way, but it's a nice feeling to know that someone else cares aside from your family and aside from, your partner. And it is it is, and it can be difficult. So yeah, that's like my postpartum journey. I didn't really experience too much hardships. Just in lieu because I myself wanted to avoid any of that, and what kept me busy and happy was Isla and my partner being able to be around. And when things started opening up slowly, we ordered out, or we'd go out on a date and we'd bring Isla along with us. Obviously we're super, super careful, and it's just things like that help you, just brighten up your day. Basically what I went over is postpartum. It was the baby blues, being overwhelmed, and just, new life depending on you, and hair loss, which is, it's common for women that I heard of. I tried to avoid it. I tried doing everything I could, but it didn't happen. And now it's growing back, and some people lose their hair for even a year. So that's crazy to me, but I'm glad it stopped, and I'm glad regrowth is happening, regrowth in my life as well. And third, you find out who your friends are, and you lose them, and you know which ones are the great ones to keep in your family and in your life. And probably the fourth and last like postpartum thing that I've experienced was your body change. Obviously in the beginning you expect, your body's going to be still, a little big, your tummy is kind of like going down, everything's like kind of like coming back to normal, but it's not normal like what you're like used to. And so right now I'm kind of dealing with it, learning how to love my body. It's a brand new experience. Like, it's brand new to me. Like, it brand new is in a way, like, I'm not used to this kind of body. And so, yeah. So it's different, but it's nothing that you can't fix, like, if you want to go back to your pre-mommy body, I think it's hard. I mean, it's difficult for me enough. I want to, but like, do I want to give up like my coffee in the morning? And do I want to give up like my bun in the morning? Like, no, but I know I'll have to if I want to go back to this. If you're breastfeeding, it's a little bit harder. I know my doctor had told me that if, I were to start working out, my milk supply would kind of just plummet down. And so I was obviously scared of that. So I honestly didn't do anything. I didn't try to like, I tried to eat a little bit better, but I also, try during like while you're breastfeeding, I just ate a lot just because I still had those cravings, but also because like you're feeding something else too. You're feeding someone else too. And so you need more calories in you. And so I was just eating more, but I didn't really like gain too much weight. So like my pre-pregnancy weight was 132, and then while I was breastfeeding I was 128. But to me, I feel like it wasn't like a big difference because I still had that like that baby fat on me, my pregnancy fat on me that I have from just gaining the weight from Isla, and like obviously everything that came with it during my pregnancy. And so that's been kind of tough to deal with, but at the same time, when you have a partner that kind of like, just loves your body for what it is, and that just makes it 10 times better. And he is the kind of person who's super encouraging, and he's super into fitness. We do plan on having a second baby. We don't know when that is yet. So I also just want to be healthy and ready, and my body ready for this next baby if and when we decide to have it, just because my preeclampsia, I do have a higher % of chance of it returning, and it just comes with a lot of complications, and I just want to make sure that my body is ready and prepared, and I'm mentally ready and prepared for anything that comes along with that second pregnancy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's like postpartum life, you feel alone, and then you don't when you have friends and close people that love you. And if you are suffering from postpartum depression, I just I hope that you're okay and you can get through it. I know it's difficult because that first month that I had Isla and I was home alone, it was difficult, especially with COVID, because we were so careful, and it feels lonely, but you're not alone. There are people out there who do care for you. There are people out there who love your kid and love you. So if you are a friend of someone who's pregnant, if you feel it in your heart to reach out to them, and even if it's once a week, let them know you care, let them know you're there. And that simple text message or that phone call literally goes a mile. And I'm so thankful for my friends and family who have done so, because that has kept my spirits up, and that just gives me more excitement for them, for the day that they do get to meet Isla in person, and for the day that I get to spend time with them as well. So with that being said, Isla is getting super tired and I think it's time for nap time. And with that being said, we're gonna end our video, right baby? We're gonna end our video. If you guys enjoy little Miss Isla here with her background talk, give another like, and we'll see you guys in our next video next Wednesday. And we're gonna talk about match day, where daddy matched. We're gonna talk about what are our next steps and something really big that's happening with, for our family, but with me. And so I'm really excited to share, and I can't wait to see you guys next Wednesday. Bye. See you later.